Welcome back to Open Rise. We're about to venture off into our third and final segment for the morning. Ariel Rosado Foundation. We've been talking about this for years. Dear to our hearts. And in with us to talk more about it is actually Leticia Westby, who is Ariel Rosado's, who is says here Ariel, the president of Ariel Rosado Foundation. Kenrick Richards, chair of the Ride Committee, and Wendy Oxley, who is a board member of the Ariel Rosado Foundation. It's so nice to have you guys in, and welcome.
Thank you.
And good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
And thank you for having us, for giving us the opportunity to share what we're all about.
All right. So you started perfectly about what you're all about. Let's go back into what you guys are about. We've heard so much about it, and folks do reckon, but there's some who would want to know more. So tell us about it.
Okay, the Ariel Rosado Foundation was created back in 2012, where we held our first fundraising ride. Ariel, as you all know, was a prominent cyclist, a young guy who enjoyed cycling as a sport and was also just about becoming a lawyer. So he was a well-rounded person, mind, body. That is our motto, and so as a result, his parents decided to create a foundation, and in terms of that, trying to provide education for young kids so that they can meet their goal in life, and in addition to support the sport that he loved. Not only this cycling, but also there are other things that they support in terms of sport. This is our 8th year in terms of having our ride fundraising, which is the funds are used to provide educational scholarships. When we started with doing 7 scholarships. Now we're at about 40 per year.
What?
So we have really been doing a lot, and our target is basically needy families who have struggles trying to get their kids to school, because not going to school, the result, especially based on the social challenges that we're experiencing. Our scholars are basically across the country. It's not only in Belize City, it's all the way to Toledo and Georgetown in Dangriga, up in Corozal, so Cayo in that area. So it's across each district, and we're not focused here where most, as you know, most people like to say everything is for Belize City. But we are across the country that we provide the scholarship for our kids.
Wow.
It's always fascinating because I think everyone knew Ariel for his cycling days. But when the foundation first got started, it was an education focus because they knew how important education was to them. When you talk about the scholarships, it's been fundraising, but it's also been people who've entrusted the foundation, which shows your transparency, and obviously your application process sits well. Talk to us about how you've gotten people to get on board and offer scholarships to the kids.
Okay, one of the way that we are surviving as a foundation is that we have dedicated sponsors, meaning we have families and individuals who, because of wanting to help, they provide scholarship. The cost is like we have an average cost of $1,200 per year per child. So if you want to break it down, it's like $100 a month for those who can afford, $25 a week, rather than, if you say, I'm going to go hang out and I'm going to spend, you can say set $25 a week
Educate a child
to help in educating a child. Exactly. And we have many families that people that we know, people that actually want, and as you said, entrusting us and knowing that we're doing good. We're an audited organization. As an NGO, we try to make sure that we maintain the credibility and transparency in that regards. We have corporate sponsors, and what we do, we also keep the sponsors informed of the individual that we basically say this money is used to pay for that child's scholarship. So we keep them up to date, providing them reports. We also meet with the kids to ensure that they're on track. As again, we said we have challenged kids, and of course if you leave them, and what might be the result. Single parent, especially in the communities where mothers have to be out working late. So We try our best to work with the kids and the families to ensure that the child maintain a good grade to get through the high school. We also have a collaboration with Galen University. They provide scholarship at that level for individuals who are successful in meeting their application requirements.
So you offer high school and tertiary level?
At high school and tertiary level, and actually this school year we started with primary school. We have 7 primary school kids that are now engaged in the scholarship program.
Oh, wow.
So we are trying our best. You all know what the country is going through, the challenges we are, social and financial. So there's a lot of needs out there, and we are trying our best to spread it out. So we're looking now, this is our time, we're looking for corporate sponsor, more dedicated sponsors, and for individuals who want to support through pledges with our riders.
And that brings us to Kenrick, talking about, you are the head of the ride committee.
That's right.
And so you know this was definitely one of Ariel's passion. As I said, this is how most people knew him. Tell us about how you raise money through the ride.
With the ride, we raise money based on the registration. Usually teams, us in groups, register with us for the ride. The ride will be held May 11th this year. Saturday, May 11th. It starts from Galen. We do the registration just before the ride, so we ask that you reach in time. The ride starts at 6.
Okay.
The registration fee is $25. And we encourage, even if you're not going to ride, we encourage other people to come and register and put your name down and do a pledge towards to the fundraising efforts. No? It goes a long way. It starts from Galen, like I said. We have several stops. It's Galen, Belmopan, Cheers, Hattieville, and then our bar field. And in between each stop is an average around 15 to 18 miles. So the novice can easily make it, right?
That's
The
what you
novice.
always say.
I'm waiting for you guys to join.
But you're right, it's not just professional riders that
Yes.
participate. So it means that, most people can handle it.
Yes,
And it's not a race.
No, it's not a race. It's
Yeah.
a
Just a
ride.
ride into the city.
Exactly.
So when you guys leave at 6, what time do you expect to be in Belize City?
We normally reach around 11:30, 12.
What?
Just in time for lunch,
Yeah.
which is also provided,
Hungry for the rice, I mean.
which is also included in your $25 registration fee. You get a barbecue at the end of the ride. And along the way, we provide support. We usually get it from the cyclists or cycling teams that help us. Sometimes, last year we had great support from Digicel, the Digicel riders.
They will be doing that.
They'll be here there again. We try to keep a steady, easy pace for everybody, so we can make it into there. Yeah,
Even you can get it right.
exactly. Yeah.
You have to have a bike first. That's
I mean, as I think last year we break it down, so we would like to remind people in terms of how it goes. The first Galen to Belmopan is 18 miles.
Yes.
Okay.
I mean, just thinking about what you are as an individual can do.
Yeah.
From Galen to Cheers is 33, and to Hattieville is 48, and here it's like about 65 miles total that you're riding.
That you cover.
Yep.
Yeah, that you cover. So if you want to take that and say, okay, where do I want to
Which
either
length?
join
Yeah.
or which one I want to,
And the
How
people
far I
who join
can
in
go.
at the end, like they come in with you guys
That's
from
right.
Yes.
whether it's
That's a good ride.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Usually the majority of people come in from around Cheers or Hattieville.
Belmopan.
Belmopan
Yeah.
also,
Yeah.
even roundabout at Boulevard.
We'll take that challenge. We'll give you that challenge there. You know, we have a lot. Now the road is much better, right? So I mean, you can get out there and get ready and join us as it.
And it's not just supporting the cause, because I want to be clear. I know a lot of times people may come out, but it's also about collecting the funds from it as well.
Yep.
So you have the registration fee, and there's also a pledge,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
So you don't have to. The registration fee is just the bare minimum we ask.
Yeah.
Or if you wish to give more, it's always welcome, and that's what we're here for. Try to promote and get more support.
No, look, we're educating
That's
people
right.
here, and when you could chime in anytime, because so year 1 it was only 7 students.
7 students.
So from year 1, now we're at year 8,
Eight.
and we're seeing up to 40 a year.
Yes.
So from year 1 to present, how many students would you say you guys have educated via this foundation so far? What's the total so far? And I'm saying this because there, I love to hear what the outcome is, especially when people are actually pledging and chiming in. So how much so far? How many students so far?
It's about well over 150 students.
Wow.
Graduated.
Yeah.
And the numbers are growing.
Yeah.
Wow.
There is a great need.
Is a great need,
Yes.
and so if you hear some of the stories that we get on the registration forms, you can't pass it up.
Yeah.
How do you
Wow.
select who gets the scholarship?
We have an independent body within including board and people that they invite, people from schools, and those individuals meet after we have closed off our application period, and we try to inform the kids by the end of June, basically, if they are successful.
Okay.
But when we get back our information, it's like, it is hard to say no, like what Kenrick was saying.
Yeah.
Reading the stories, the challenges that these kids have, or having to get, just wanting to get to school and making sure that you're there.
Is it need-based or academic-based?
Need-based is the first.
That's first.
Need is first, and of course, you know that the schools, if you're not successful, then you have a challenge there. So that is why we try our best to get assistance for them. Dr. Ariel Rosado, who is a counselor, I mean, there are challenges that as individuals living in communities, having to, every night you might be hearing a gunshot or quarreling in that regard. So these are things that kids have to go through. So she's there, and she does counsel some of the kids as they go through that. We have individuals, Miss Pat Bennett, who is an educator, and Miss Sherry Gabriel. They basically go visit the school and find out more about the kids, if there's any issues with them, if they do have any academic challenges, and that's in Belize City and throughout the entire country. So we are an organization that follows through with with the child. So when you're giving us the money, we are ensuring that your money is being put to good use.
You did mention.
I am amazed. Sorry, just one thing. I wanted to get asked about the current scholarships, because I'm amazed at how many people are reaching out asking where they can access scholarship applications for high school specifically. But what are your application period is now open, right?
Yes.
It's about
we
open.
have a Facebook page that anyone can download a scholarship application. And as the president had mentioned, we are an organization that's a little bit set apart in that we are intimately involved with our applicants. We follow through a couple of months. We follow up and see how they're doing. We don't wait until the end of the school year to say why you failed or what happened, so that if there's some sort of counseling, some sort of way that we can assist the families or the student themselves, we do that.
No, that's nice. You did mention that now you're rolling it out to primary school.
Yes.
Is there a specific class of primary school or level of primary school, or is it throughout?
Since this is our first year, we were testing out. What we did, we turned to the principals of those schools to identify kids that are really in need. As you know, there are kids that goes to primary school without meals. So they already have their program. They know these kids, and of course, it's kids that they would like to see finish and try to make that next step to high school. So those are the kids that they target.
And people don't realize there is a need at the primary school level because they assume that
it's free.
It's free, but their fees, which the school needs as well.
Exactly.
But also when parents have multiple children, that's where they end up in the dilemma of who gets to go and who doesn't.
It becomes a tragedy to see a child was not able to complete primary school based on the fact that their family couldn't afford it.
And everybody was born equally when it comes to mental, and so if we should start now in educating these children from a young age, then what a beautiful country we would have. Which leads me to ask the question as well, for primary school scholarships, if it's child and infant 2 or standard 2, would it be for the duration until they graduate to high school?
As I said, we're testing. We have not, but what we do in terms of our high school, that's what we do. Once a child is successful, that child maintains that scholarship.
So it's not a one-year scholarship.
It's automatically that child continues to hold that, and it's just based on their academic and their willingness to say, I have a goal, I want to finish high school. And they apply themselves, and they are funded every year.
Yeah.
So it probably will be, at this time what we have gotten was kids in the upper primary school, upper level of the primary school. So yes, if they continue, that's what if they're continuously successful, they will continue in that manner.
So we have multiple things here. We have the registration for the ride, which takes place when?
You can register at our Donors Bike Shop, the Ariel Rosado Foundation's office. That's on Ariel Rosado Avenue, right behind Brody's.
Yeah.
You can either contact any one of the members, or you can register at the start of the ride.
Okay.
At Galen Campus, or at Belmont Park, or any one of the other stops.
Okay. And it's only $25.
Only $25.
Okay.
All right. And so if somebody comes around with a pledge sheet too, you know what you're supporting.
That's right.
That's nice.
And the application period, when does that close? You said you can get it, you can download it from Facebook.
Yes, from the Facebook page. And there's also a website.
Yes,
Okay.
we do have a website that they can log on and download the documents and submit it by the middle of June, so that we can, by as I said, the information the end of June, middle of July, because we do have a ceremony that we basically present them and award them that scholarship.
And it's primary, secondary, and tertiary. How many university scholarships do you give away?
We have 2 per year.
2 per year. All right. And of course, if somebody's watching and saying, I wish I could help a child through school, how do they get in touch with you?
Yes.
We're online in terms of our site, the Ariel Rosado Foundation.com. Facebook page, they can contact us. We will be sending out, or we have already started tapping into the corporate, trying to get, we have BTL and BL who basically have already partnered with us in terms of as a corporate sponsor to the foundation and a sponsor to our ride.
Yeah.
So we have that. We maintain our individual dedicated sponsors, and I will ask Wendy to basically highlight the sponsors for the ride that we have.
We'd like to thank our bar, the Blue Steel Songs Band, Steel Band, Crystal, Powerade, the Ordonez Bike Shop, Thursdays, the Police Department. We'd also like to thank our dedicated sponsors, whom are, let me start with the Wet Lizard. Then we have, I'm sorry, let me see. Miss Cassandra Rogers Scholarship, the Rosaura and Adolfo Nunes Scholarship. We have the Sharon and Chester Walker Scholarship. We have Belize Telemedia with a dedicated scholarship also as a corporate. We have Unicomer, and then Doreen and Louise Humphreys. We have Miss April Rosado Scholarship. We have Cynthia and Gary Magnus Scholarship. The Cassandra Rogers Scholarship, which is a second scholarship. The CFAL, dedicated CFAL, yes, scholarship. Thank you. Social Security Board, Ian Rosado, Joyce and Arthur Barrow, Belize Electricity Limited, Soraya Ruiz Scholarship, and Alia and Ted Castillo dedicated scholarship. We'd like to thank you from the bottom of our hearts in reaching out and helping the less privileged.
So you could actually, if you've got your friends group and you want to see something done within your particular area, you could actually access the Ariel Rosado Foundation, and you could actually pledge your scholarship via Ariel Rosado.
Correct.
Which makes it even
in
easier.
your memory, so you are still getting recognized. And
but you go through all the details of ensuring the right candidates get them. Because I think that's part of the restriction.
For example, another thing that if you identify a child and you want to do it without people knowing, you can come to us to help you administer that scholarship. And you come together and get your money, give it to us, and we will take care of that child for you. And keep you abreast of what is going on, how that child progressed through in his.
So you and the boys could educate a child.
Yes.
The Ariel Rosado
Exactly.
Foundation.
I would put you to task with that. Can I?
Yeah, definitely.
All right.
And what's the financial commitment? Because it's not as much as people think when you
That's
break it down.
it's $1,200 a year.
That's
a
at a
year.
high school.
That's a high school.
That's a high school scholarship.
That's a high school.
A primary school would be much
About
cheaper.
$300 a year, and you can have a primary school student basically getting all their.
There you go.
Yeah. So
There you go.
I just want to highlight sponsors who have been with us in terms of supporting the ride from the start.
Okay.
We have the Hour Bar, because as you always know,
That's where you
that's where
end,
we end. We have San Ignacio Hotel that they provide us the lodging every night, every year, whenever before the start of the ride. Hodes provide us sandwich for when we have our registration. People come in early. As you know, it starts early.
Yeah.
And Boeing and Boeing in reference to providing the drinks for our ride. So.
And I would also like to add that for those from Belize City that would like to do the ride and don't have a transportation to reach Galen, we will be providing a van that usually leaves from the roundabout from Cemetery Road, and it leaves around 4 in the morning,
4 a.m.
so we can reach in time for the ride.
To start the ride.
So we'll be providing transportation also.
All right.
Perfect.
And I cannot forget the traffic and police department. They have always been there for us as well. So.
Well, we wish you the best of luck. We hope that some very kind hearts heard you this morning and you get a couple more dedicated scholarships, because I think the corporate companies are important, but there's so many individual families who
can
do
make it-
want to help.
Yes, and they
But
can
just
make it happen.
probably thought it was too expensive. But so thank you for coming in, allowing
you.
this option, and best
for
of luck
having
on
us.
the ride. And remember that application period is open for scholarships till mid-June, and you can get the application forms from the Ariel Rosado Foundation website.
Or
Thank you.
from the office.
We're going to go ahead and take our final break, and when we come back, we'll have our wrap-up, so stay tuned.